As beautiful as it is for us to be here together gathered, this is also probably going to be one of the saddest Ramadans we have experienced. Why is it one of the saddest Ramadans for all the Muslims across the globe? And that's why the theme I picked this year was the state of the Ummah. The very first, I'll talk about different things happening, but I'll talk about the very first that connects each and every one of us. The land which has been blessed, the land which the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam had mentioned of the 3 places we are allowed to travel to, the masajids we're allowed to travel to. In this land exists one of these masajids. It is a land that Allah Azza wa Jal described as Barakna Hawlah. It is a land that is blessed in its environs, blessed in its people, blessed in its soil. And today we are experiencing a carnage that has never been experienced before. Never. It has never happened in the history of wars, in the history of genocide, that you see children, women, the elderly being killed, and the whole world cannot do anything to stop it. From October 7th, which was the day that a certain attack took place. Now, if everybody talks about October 7th being the day of the attack alone, you will be doing an injustice, because you have to look at the past 70 years to look at the oppression of the Palestinians to understand why they felt probably that was their only way out. And not the entire people. A few people that felt we must do this to save our people. Unfortunately, we are seeing today a war, a carnage that is so severe. It has made everything in history seem like nothing. Some of us have seen these videos in the news. Some have seen it on social media. Some cannot even see it at all, because of the sheer mental destruction it will do to you to see some of these images. For you to understand how terrible this is, an American soldier went in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., doused himself with fuel and committed suicide, lit himself up, and kept shouting, "Free Palestine." This man was not a Muslim. Only you and I know if Allah, or none of us knows whether Allah will show mercy upon him, because that was his only way of protesting against the crime being done against Palestinians. We are all seeing it today, and none of us can do anything to stop it. None of the world powers, in quotes, can do anything to stop it. None of the United Nations can do anything to stop it. None of these so-called leaders can do anything to stop it, even though they have the power to do so. The power is there. But why are they not doing anything? It's like the ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us and was recited by the Imam. When it is said to them, do not perform, or do not be mufsiduna fil ard. Do not be oppressors, corruptors on the surface of the earth. They'll say, no, we are the reformers. We are the ones who want to reform the society. The truth is, these are the people causing the greatest chaos in society. So as much as we celebrate Ramadan today, and it's a time for us to draw closer to Allah and connect with Allah, it is also a time to reflect on what is happening to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them victory. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the dead from amongst them the shuhada, or from amongst the shuhada. I want to say something though, that this period, don't relent in making dua for them. Don't relent in calling on Allah for them. As you know, they are not just under siege in terms of bombs dropping from their heads, or dropping on their heads rather. Today there is now a blockade of food and other aid going into Gaza. So apart from dying as a result of these bombs dropping on them, today they are now dying as a result of starvation. To the degree that it's not about having suhoor and iftar for them anymore. It's even about whether they would live long enough to have the next meal that just takes them for a few days. That is how they are surviving. And for some of us, we've eaten, we had suhoor, we had our iftar, we came here, we spent time with family. They do not have that luxury. But the beautiful thing about them is that Allah has not removed iman from their hearts. You go to the masajids, you see the masajids are full. Even tonight before coming, I watched Taraweeh prayers in Gaza. And these people stood in front of a mosque that was blown to bits and they were observing Salat al-Taraweeh. The state of the Ummah is such that even in our weakness and our sadness that we cannot do anything for them, today they are the ones giving us strength to see that this is what Iman looks like. That when everything is taken away from you and they ask you, what will you do? You have nothing. They say, I have Allah. I have Allah. Allah is sufficient for me. Allah is enough. You've all seen the video. A man that they said, you don't have a house, you don't have fuel, you don't have anything, you don't have clothes, all your children were killed. What are you going to do? He says, I have Allah. Allah is sufficient. Allah suffices for me. So the state of our ummah, today, as weak as we are rising from the ashes to get strength from the people of Gaza. And so I want us all in our du'as, in our sujood, remember them. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you as you make dua for them. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.